Hey everybody, what's up? Kevin here from the MSOTD Rocks YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing the debut album, the first album from this punk hardcore inspired outfit out of Australia. This is our review of Help Me Help You by Stepson. Before we get started though, please follow MSOTD Rocks on places like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On all three of those platforms, you will get the 30-second Song of the Day feature, which is a brand new song every single day from a heavy hitter in the scene or an up-and-coming emerging act for you to get all in the know with what is great with rock and metal today. Also, on those platforms, we will announce anytime anything is released, such as podcasts, YouTube videos, any announcements we need to make. We also post many different questions on those platforms all to interact with you guys, to ask you what's going on, what you like, what you dislike, just get to know more about music from you. We also post IGTV videos every single Tuesday night, which is behind the scenes look at what we're doing and maybe different thoughts that I have as well. And every single Wednesday night on Instagram, we go live at 9 p.m. Central. It's time for you to come hang out with us for an hour. Whatever happens. It's always a great time. Please also subscribe to this YouTube channel, because not only are you going to get these album reviews, you also get stuff like the Kevin Figures Out series, where I try and figure out if I like certain bands that I'm not that well versed in. We also do our top 10 list, our year-end awards, our videos about emerging bands in the scene today. And we also have the Chord Progression podcast, which lives in our YouTube channel. It is our very own podcast. We're interviewing all the emerging bands in the scene today that are coming up. Hopefully we'll have interviewed Stepson by the time this video comes out. We've also interviewed bands such as Ascent Like Wolves, Dream Shade, Thrill the Fights, Kill the Lights, Saul, even some heavier hitters like Modern Day Escape and From Ashes to New. So be sure to check out the podcast, because we get to know these artists in ways that you never expect, but it gets you to know the artists on more of a fun, personal level. So you can watch this video here on YouTube, or you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeart, link description below for everything. So like, share, subscribe, tell your friends to the crazy day down the street going like, hey, hey, hey. But let's go. So a little bit of a background on Stepson, and again, this is their debut album, so there's not much behind there outside of they're a punk/hardcore punk inspired band out of Australia. This album was supposed to come out in 2020, and they're supposed to make their maiden trip over to Europe to tour with it. However, COVID happened, so of course it's coming out, and when they'll be able to tour again, who really knows at this point. And when it came to this album, the band had said that this potentially could be a lot of different things outside just that punk and hardcore realm, because they are inspired by so many different things. So they're going to put a lot of those different influences that they have had over the years from writing music, from becoming musicians, into this album. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But let's just jump into it, shall we? Starting off the composition, construction, instrumentation on Help Me Help You by Stepson. And when I take a look at that, again, the band had said that they were going to include a lot of their influences in there that they've had over the years, along with their punk and hardcore base as well. And when taking a look at it with these 11 songs, yeah, I think they absolutely did this. When I picked up on certain things, such as, again, of course, the punk and the hardcore punk scene, but also stuff with like pop punk, some metalcore was in there consistently, even with some more emo stuff, and some more electronic alternative was also placed in this album as well. But the question is, did they create this whole entire diversive experience that really has that base, more of that hardcore punk and punk realm, really take a lot of their influences in there to make this a very diverse and very just all-encompassing album? And the answer is yes. Let's take a look at some examples to really understand this. First song I'll look at is Deeper Sleep. This was the first song I ever heard by Stepson, and this is the one that made me like, okay, I want to introduce band the podcast. I want to listen to this album. I cannot wait for it, and let me tell you why. The intro really kind of comes in with this style of like AFI back in 2006. Again, think December Underground now, think more of the Miss Murder style, but with like a pop punk and post-hardcore mix on the instrumentals, keeping the faster pace in the song, and again, it maintains the energy throughout the whole entire thing. But keeping them further back in terms of overall volume to really let the vocals shine on this, to really create more of this all-encompassing feel. I'll get to why this song is fantastic, because it's all basically through the vocals on how this really maxes out, but that's going to be in the next section. Now take a look at Come With Me, where right from the beginning of the song, we're going to get this intro riff that kind of has this more metalcore-inspired style, but a little bit more of that like hardcore punk meets metalcore style, so a little bit more on that realm. And I was like, okay, this is definitely something that's for me, because you know me, I like that hardcore punk sound, I really like the metalcore sound as well, and this intro riff just had me titillated from the start. But then we get into the verses on Come With Me, they get more of this metalcore sound fully in there. with rapid drumming, but then the letter guitar work is overlaid. It reminds me a lot of like the hardcore punk scene, and I'm all for it. This makes me feel like, older Rise Against me metalcore, and of course I wore the Rise Against shirt for the specific occasion, and I really like how that works out because, again, I'm a huge Rise Against fan. I love hardcore punk, I love metalcore, I love how this all mixed in together. The chorus is clearly the best part of the song because they put more of this metalcore sound, and I really like how this works out here. That is because they have this consistent hits with the faster pace as well, along with the drumming on this one. And they have that punk rock feel with one guitar that's playing this like higher style. It stands out here and makes this sound so much dynamic and so incredible that you just don't want to stop listening to it. Even take a look at after the second verse in the pre-chorus, we go into this breakdown and it's slow, it's broken up, but it's also bursting at the exact same time as well. It is absolutely phenomenal. We're looking into ourselves and we might not like what we see. It's like this breakdown just gives you a feel like you're breaking down your own self and you're not liking what you're seeing, but you have to take a look at it. Like this whole entire song just really stands out to me. I'll take a look at a song like This Shift, This Blur. When I listen to it, I'm like, they're bringing more of that like rock, pop, punk, like post-hardcore kind of style that Escape the Fate would really have on a song like this. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting. When we get to the chorus of the song, we go back to what we got with the intro of the song, where the guitar's playing this slightly more of a prominent role here. And again, I like the move to really focus on more of that, like, that Escape the Fate kind of post-hardcore pop-punk sound. And that is because the transfer of energy really fits well with what we're going through this whole entire song. It's a great feeling going through this and feeling that energy is transferred from one spot to the next. Plus, this feels like the moment where you're going to say, like, no more in the relationship that we have. Like, this is the point where, like, no more, I'm done with this. And the pre-chorus transition after the second verse here, if the song stands out to me the absolute most. The reason behind that is because we get more of that bursting breakdown that quickly transition more of this like melodic metalcore transition that is less full as the notes don't really drag on. It's a quick hit on this one, and that is absolutely it. This is great to make sense of the heaviness of the song and have it stand out while keeping it more grounded, like you are having enough and saying enough for yourself finally. So this song just really speaks out to you. Again, I'm bringing up a lot of themes right now. Again, I'll really detail this after I detail the vocals. Now take a look at a song like I Wish, because it does play with more of that electronic alternative vibe in there. And what I mean by that is it really approached the whole thing with bringing that sound that reminds me of kind of like Paris by the Chainsmokers. I was like, what's going on here? This doesn't really make sense to me at all. However, the focus of the lower overall sound throughout most of the songs is there, but it adds a slightly higher pitch piece in the chorus to really make it stand out even more. And again, not the biggest fan of the overall sound. However, I absolutely respect the move here because it's different. We're seeing some more of their influences coming here, a little more of this electronic alternative sound. Again, not my favorite thing in the world, but it is a little bit refreshing when we're hearing a lot of different things with more of this like punk, hardcore punk, metalcore, pop punk inspiration really focused on this style. Also looking at the song Hush, where they take the sound of the song and again go a little bit more alternative to really bring out more of this jaded feel that the song really needs to have coming forward with the theme of the overall song. So when you really look at the theme of this one, it's like, oh man, this alternative sound really does work well to really pull it back and make it feel a little more empty throughout the whole entire thing. And however, in my mind, again, something was lacking in instrumentals really maximize out on that jadedness. And again, the use of the softer sounds really worked out to add to that jaded feel in the song that it was intended to have. However, I just didn't feel like it was fully taken advantage of. So I was like, okay, it's mostly good, but I'm like, there might just be something missing on Hush. Also look at Say Something, where they really took more of an emo approach on the overall song, and let me tell you why. When the verses start, they play with a simplistic drum beat that is softer and more of an emo tone on the guitars as well. And this really works out here because when the song is about being there for someone and being their safety net in more of a relationship, again, that more emo sound really does work out well because you're just expressing that a little bit more of this darker kind of tone, a little bit more of this emotional kind of tone. And again, when you're talking about that, it really does fit really well overall. And in the chorus, they keep it a little bit more melodic, but the guitars play more of this heavier and full sound as well. It just adds to the overall emo feel of the track. It feels a lot grander. It feels a lot more like a production at this point, but it really does work out for the band here. And it's a message that is just perfect for this type of song. And again, might not be my favorite, but they really can create this overall feel. So overall, when it comes to composition, construction, instrumentation on Help Me Help You, again, they play with a lot of different styles here. And usually when I see bands play with a lot of different styles, like, okay, there's gonna be some stuff I like, there's some stuff I dislike, and I'm pretty much mostly middle of the road with it because, if you're gonna try and please everybody, you're not gonna end up pleasing anybody fully in the end. However, Stepson, they really kind of concentrate more on what they like, and again, really focus more on like what that punk and hardcore punk realm would have focused on. However, they branch up a little bit at times. And a lot of times they branched out, it really did work out well, matching with the overall theme of the song, really matching with the energy flow of the album. However, at points, it really didn't. It felt like they kind of like missed out on a couple of things. Maybe didn't put some in there, maybe just made it feel less dense. However, when they really stuck with that more like hardcore punk, metalcore kind of sound, they absolutely were fantastic on this. So this is definitely worth a listen from a composition, construction, instrumentation standpoint. Now when it comes to the vocals from Stepson, we got a huge mix in this album from clean and unclean style of vocals. So we got a lot of differentiation here within the songs. And I don't think there's really any song to better exemplify this than the song Deeper Sleep, which I'm going to go deep into to really let you guys know all about this one. Deeper Sleep takes you on an absolute ride where in the first verse, we're going to get this more drawn out but also somewhat melodic, like unclean style, again more that scream sing style. But it really does work out well because when you're talking about this theme of it with the relationship deteriorating, again, that harshness really does work out well in the first verse. But then you get to the second and the third verse of the song, and just the unclean vocals get more visceral, they get more raw, they get so much more angry. And again, you're seeing all the emotion come out in this one right away. And with the instrumentation really following along with this, but also being dropped back volume-like, to really let the vocals shine here. Again, you're just getting this full-on feel from the vocals here, and through the first three verses, my god, this was just killer. In the first chorus on this one though, they kind of clean up the vocals. They go a lot cleaner, they go a lot more drawn out melodic style, but in a pop punk kind of flavor. And I really like how this works out too. That is because what this does really creates a feel that you're finally breaking through to that person when you're completely distant at this point. And it's finally happening at this moment here. In the last chorus, they go much softer with the following instrumentation to really kind of draw this song back and really let you just like sink into you a little bit more feelings wise. And this is fine, but because of how they close out the song and how they transition to that close, it's all about how it closes here. And the outro, they end up really telling this whole story more of a condensed style where the vocals start out rougher and unclean, but then get clean in the second half of that pop punk whoa-oh-ohs in there. So you're really going for a full ride on this one, and just the mix of these more scream sing, the brutal unclean vocals, and then also the clean vocals with how everything transitions from one set to the other was the energy transfer. Oh man, I mean, I heard this song the first time, and right when I was working on this, I had it on repeat for days. This thing was fantastic. Was there any other songs that really stood out vocally? And Come With Me, my favorite song, also did as well. In the verses though, the unclean vocals really play along with the beat that the song has and keeps along with the roughness of the instrumentation. And there's also some backing clean vocals at some points in here as well that create more of the dynamic feel overall in the verse. It just has a duality of having issues in a relationship that also you're causing, but you know, you're trying to figure out how do I fix these, but also how to fix relationship at the same time too. There's a lot going on here. In the pre-chorus on this song, they bring in the clean vocals really be the feature, but the unclean vocals are heavy as the accent style here, and it's more of a concentrated feel to the song overall. And again, we're getting a great transition feel here by keeping the energy, but also concentrating a little bit more so we can go into the chorus with a full-on blast based on what the vocals are doing. And in the chorus on this song, oh my god, I'm a huge fan of what they do here. There is one vocalist who stays clean and more of this like chant style overall, with the other going unclean, even more of that hardcore punk and mixed with the metalcore fast pace in the song, and it makes this song palatable and relatable on so many different levels just based on what they're doing here. If you've ever been that person in a relationship that has the issues, the unclean anger and the clean chants with the fast-paced backing instrumentals on this one will make it stand out and make you feel like you're going to connect the overall sound of the song and exactly with what you went through. I mean, I went through something like this, so this song just like hit me square in the face. So did Deeper Sleep, but this one really punched me in the face. And then there's the breakdown with the unclean melodic style. It just hits you hard, like you're fighting with yourself to make it better for you and the other person. The vocals take you on this emotional ride where you're trying to fix problems in the relationships and also fix problems within yourself, and you're just really struggling about it. But again, it's just the vocals take you on. Overall, when it comes to the vocals on this one though, for the whole entire album, the best way to describe it is Stepson knows what they're doing to really take you on a ride through this overall album and the overall meanings and themes, which I'll get to next, through their vocals. They tell the story perfectly with the different tones, the different clean, unclean styles. And I mean, if you're looking for just this album that's going to hit you square in the face and really take you on a ride based on the vocals, this is it. Help me help you. So when it comes to the themes of the songs on Help Me Help You by Stepson, they really focus in on the problems that can happen within a relationship between a man and woman, man, woman, whoever it might be. And when it really comes down to it, they really focus in on the troubles that you can cause or the other person causes, or just some inherent problems that you have to get through. Take a look at a couple examples. They really talk about dealing with relationships where one person is struggling with trust issues due to past relationship or abuse. And they look at both the person that you're with and yourself as well within these songs. Songs like Run, Deeper Sleep, and Come With Me absolutely hit the nail on the head with this. They also deal with themes such as emotional and people trying to change you so that you fit their idea of you in a relationship. Songs like Who We Are and The Shift, The Blur really focusing on this, along with topics of leaving toxic relationships and putting them in the dust. Something like Say Something and Learning to Let Go really focus in on this. But how do the song styles play out with these themes? I think you already know, but let me tell you. And overall, yes, they absolutely hit the nail on the head on this one when it comes to matching the song styles with the overall themes that they went with. This is a home run right here. When I went through this album, every song matched up with it, and here's why. When they were talking about struggling to open up and being there for people that have been emotionally abused before and being there when they struggle to open up along with yourself as well, if you're the one going through that, they just hit the nail on the head so well to really make you feel the anger, the frustration, and sometimes even that relief that happens when you go through that whole entire process of trying to let it out, trying to be okay with it, and then also opening up at the same time as well. All songs like Dilemma and Hush really focus in on the jadedness of the overall style when you're kind of in a relationship and you're done, or you're just not feeling like, it should continue on, but you're still in there for some odd reason. Okay, let me put it to you this way, why this hit so well for me. There were times in my life where I have gone through pretty much almost everything they had said up to these songs. There's maybe one or two that I didn't necessarily feel it, but there are a bunch when it comes to relationships where other people were struggling to open up to me, and in turn there was one where I struggled to even open up to the other person because I was scared, I was frightened, I had fear overcoming me and basically ruling me at that point. And everything they had talked about, all the anger, the frustration, and sometimes the relief, and you finally able to pull that off and open up, they hit the nail so well on the head on this one that, this transcended me when it came to the overall experience of it. I'm still shocked to this point that this album is going to exist and this album is going to hit so many people this way. Okay, time my overall rating on Help Me Help You by Stepson is... When it's all said and done, I'm giving Help Me Help You by Stepson an 8 out of 10. So an 8 out of 10 for Stepson. What I like about Help Me Help You, and the biggest thing I liked, is when they focus on more of that bass sound they have, that core sound they have with the punk, hardcore punk, and metalcore sound. And the reason I like that is because, again, I'm the one that associates more with that than any other sound that they probably were going to come up with on this album. But the reason is behind when they did that, the flow of these songs, the energy they brought up in them, the different emotions that you felt through them, just how they carry energy from one part of the song, like from the verse, pre-chorus, chorus, into the bridge and the breakdown as well. They just hit every single aspect and just carry these songs to an emotional charge that you're going to feel. Songs like Deeper Sleep, Come With Me, and The Shift, This Blur, are just going to absolutely be killers for you to listen to when it comes to something like this. One of the other things I really liked about this album was, again, just how the vocals were performed here, because you take a look at the vocals on this album, and what they do is they mix so well with the underlying instrumentation, using these different styles of unclean screams, these different pitches on these clean sounds as well, these more depressed feelings, these more high pitched, more upbeat kind of clean vocals, and even like more of the scream sing stuff like Chester Bennington when done with Linkin Park. But what all makes sense here is because they take you on a ride through the overall themes of these albums through their vocals. How they do that is, again, they're going to bring out the anger, the frustration when it comes to being in these relationships and trying to get people to open up to you or to be opening up to them yourselves. Deeper Sleep is the one that absolutely smacked me in the face on this, and all the other songs really hit home on this. The other thing I like about this album, again, is the fact that they took these themes of a relationship when it comes to problems that you're having with it, trying to get out of them, or even just trying to have the other person open up to you, or you open up to them. And what they did was they really understood the frustration, the anger, the relief that comes when you finally get through with these, the jadedness when it comes to going through certain kinds of abuse. And they just focus in so well on these to really give you a full-on ride with many different influences in there as well. So yeah, this was just something that, when I listened to this album, it kind of made me reevaluate a lot of things I had thought of previously. That is absolutely insane. What I dislike about this album though, now to be fair, I always do a like and dislike section. This one I'm going to be a little bit more nitpicky on, just to kind of add a little bit more of the dislike in there, just so you guys get a little bit taste of what I'm thinking of maybe where I'm not the biggest fan of the album. And again, it's just where some of these other influences came in where I didn't think they necessarily put them out there as well. Hush is a great example of this because the song gets this overall more alternative feel to really create this more jaded sound, which really fits in well with the overall theme of the song. However, it's just how jaded it feels. It feels like there's something missing to really just amplify the overall sound on it. And then a song like I Wish as well, they kind of had this like alt-electric vibe that made you feel like you were wishing for something else and something better. However, the electric sound really doesn't resonate with me at all, so I just couldn't connect with this as well as I could connect with every other song on Help Me Help You. Again, I'm being nitpicky on these because I want to show parity between if I really like this album, like there might be something I really dislike about it, or just kind of have a little bit of a beef with, or a little bit of something I want to mention too. So I just want to show parity on this. Now it's time for my overall final thought when it comes to Help Me Help You by Stepson, and let me put it to you this way. Last year when we did our whole entire like best albums from emerging bands and upcoming bands in the scene day, I had Solid 1 and Stain the Canvas at 2. If this would have been in 2020, this album would have been right up with those two. And after listening to it, I cannot believe how incredible this thing actually is. Again, with that bass and more of that punk, hardcore punk style, they really focus in on other different styles as well, like metalcore, pop punk, some electric alternative, and even some emo as well. But what they do so well with it is they understand how these different styles make different meanings in these songs sound and connect with the fans. And really when you listen to them, my God, you're going to go on an absolute ride with every single one of these songs on this album. Deeper Sleep, Come With Me, This Shift, This Blur. Oh man, I mean, again, this album made me reevaluate so many different things about past relationships that I had been in, and really just made me think about certain things that I had done or that other people had done as well, just to really understand what the hell was going on. This was absolutely incredible. Stepson should be absolutely proud that this is their debut album. And if you are thinking about, should I listen to this? The answer is yes. Go listen to it. It comes out on March 26th. And with that, that's me for me today, guys. Thank you for listening to the episode of D-Rock's review of Help Me Help You by Stepson. Let me grab this so I can actually do the hat flip. Oh, I missed it, but see ya!